Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half acre homestead with a tea break, and this is about the 5th time I've tried to do this. I keep getting interrupted. So while I do this, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so we can have a chat. Now listen, everybody may, well not everybody, but people may want to know what's going on in the world, in my country, with politics and all kinds of stuff. Well, I'm not going to address the turd in the living room on this channel. I will address it on my Rumble channel. I will put a link into the description box below this video so you can find my Rumble channel. That is the only place I now actually speak quite freely. Well, that and TikTok when they let me. But there's a reason. Okay, there's a reason for that. So anything that's an update, I haven't done a Rumble update in a couple of days, so I will be doing one later today. It'll probably come out tomorrow, all right? But the link for my Rumble channel will be be in the description box below this video. So, let's talk about seeds. Everything's coming up. You know, I'm telling you, those Manitoba tomatoes just don't know how to quit. Last year, or in the last summer, if you remember, this past summer, when I cut a Manitoba tomato for a tomato sandwich, I just scraped the seeds off the cutting board onto a piece of paper towel and spread them out. Now, a lot of people said, oh no, you got to wash that jelly off them. No, you don't. Because if you put them on a paper towel or a coffee filter, that will absorb that jelly and the seeds will dry beautifully. So I did that, and I just tore a strip off that paper and I planted it, and they're just going gangbusters. So much that a couple of them were like, I saw paper towel pushing up out of the soil, and I looked and I peeled it back, and there were like 3 little plants going, hey, get me out from under the blanket. So, I mean, the Manitoba tomatoes are good. I'll be transplanting them probably within the next few days when they get into their first true leaf. I have also started subarctic plenties. They're not very big. They're about that big. But they're like a Manitoba tomato, only they mature even faster. I haven't even started Scotia tomatoes. But this year, I'm going to do the Manitoba tried and true, and I'm going to try the subarctic plenty. And if what they say is true, okay, like beefsteak tomatoes and brandywines and that, they usually take about 97 days to reach maturity because they're a big tomato that takes a lot of energy to grow. And we live in a northern climate, right? But the Manitoba tomatoes are ready in 60 to 67 days from transplanting. The subarctic plenties, 47 days. So I'm hoping, what's 47 days? A month? I'm hoping to start having tomatoes mid-July, early to mid-July, all the way through to the first frosts. So I'm going to keep a big bin in my freezer just for the tomatoes. I'm hoping to put more in than regular. I think I usually put in 2, 4, 6, 8 plants. I'm hoping to put in 10 to 12 this year. My leeks aren't doing as well. I've planted 2 packages of leeks and not many. The first package didn't take at all. And the second one from Stokes, I got about 10. My celery is starting to come up, but I, again, have had to add an extra package of seeds because I don't know what's different this year, but they don't seem to be doing. And my onions, I've used 3 packages of seeds. So I don't know what's going on with the onions, the leeks, and the celery this year, but I'm going to baby them. I have sage coming up. What else? Oregano, parsley, sage, oregano, parsley, and basil. I have not been able to get seeds for rosemary in time. I'll probably buy started plants. The weather is absolutely lovely. It's chilly and cold, and I wish I could move my webcam for you to see that the sun is shining through the bare trees, and they're coated in ice from our freezing rain 2 days ago, and it has not come up to melt. So everything's sparkling. All the trees are sparkling in the sunshine like diamonds, like wet diamonds. It's beautiful. It's really a beautiful day. So that's all that's been started. I'm going to start my marigolds soon, but they don't need to be started as early because they grow really fast. But I'm going to do them in a flat as well. I've also, you know that pot that I put a couple of pieces of ginger in? I put that under the lights because it didn't seem to be doing very well. So this year, I also have to revamp my garden space because if you remember, here I was going to put, can you see that? Here I was going to put beets, and I struck it off and did onions or leeks. But I have since bought more beet seeds, and this is onions and this is leeks, and that's if they even take. My cabbages are coming up nicely. 4 beds of celery may not actually happen. We will see. But I mean, my mini peppers are coming up. My mini peppers and my sweet peppers are coming up. Now, I know peppers and tomatoes are in the same family. They're in the nightshade family. But you can, when I transplant my tomatoes, I transplant them and bury them right up to the first baby leaves. And then I transplant them again. I know it wastes energy transplanting, but if you don't, they get more growth and less roots. So every time you transplant them, you transplant them up to the next set of leaves. And all those hairs on the tomato plants will turn into roots and give it a better start. That's why my tomatoes did so well last year. People are like, oh, you started them too early, they're going to get leggy. No, it's the way I do it. It's taken me 45 years to figure out how to grow tomatoes. And it didn't help that I moved, because when we lived in Ontario, we lived in south, like we were right down by the lakeshore. And so we had a really much longer growing season, and then we've continually moved farther north since. So I'm fairly confident that I'm getting to know how to grow tomatoes. Yeah, it's funny because people think gardeners there's a lot of expert gardeners out there, but any gardener worth his salt is going to say that they learn something new every year. And when I learn something new, I put it into practice. For instance, I have that watermelon I grew last year that was only this big, and it was barely pink in the center with white seeds in it because it didn't have enough time to grow, was sweeter than any store-bought watermelon I've ever had. So I found an earlier season watermelon that I'm going to plant this year. And they're going to be planted out front. And I have 2 4x8 pieces of white plastic lattice that when I plant the watermelons in their box, I'm going to put the lattice leaning on the box like I did kind of with the baby gates, but obviously that wasn't enough. So they need more room to grow. So I'm gonna lean, here's the box, and I'm gonna lean the lattices on the box so that as the vines start to go, I will train them to climb down the lattice, and that will keep them off the ground and away from slugs and stuff, and give them, support, right? So a lot of plans going on this year for the garden. So anyway, spring is around the corner, and we are soon going to be bursting forth with planting and all that kind of fun stuff. Nancy no longer does gardening, or at least that's what I heard. She no longer does gardening, so I'm going to have to maybe advertise to get somebody to come and help me for a day, to fill the garden beds and reorganize them. Right? I just wish I knew somebody with Nancy's energy and know-how, because she's God love her, she's a workhorse. God love her. She works so hard. But she has a full-time job, and she still does cleaning too. You know what I mean? So I don't think she's doing gardening this year. But I doubt very much. Like Howie says, oh yeah, put it on the list. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. But he forgets. that the closer spring gets, the more race-minded he is. And every spare moment after the end of April, every spare weekend, if he's not at the track, he's working on a vehicle, right? So it's really difficult to get things done that I need without overworking him. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to plan that out very carefully. But the gutters definitely need to be emptied. I need a new swimming pool liner because I got that one I got last year. I got fairly cheap. I think it was $290. And it was a piece of crap. It was a piece of crap. It ripped and tore and pulled. So I have to budget for a new liner very, very soon. A better liner, so that, because if I start asking for pool liners in May, I'll be lucky to get one for $1,000 or at all. So spring is coming. These are things we have to think about. So I guess that's everything. I'm not going to be doing a lot of cooking and baking videos maybe this weekend, I don't know, but I'm more garden minded right now. And I have to do some more light rigging and stuff as the plants are getting, going from babies to being a little bit bigger. All right. So I'm really hoping that I'm worried about my leeks and my onions and my celery, but one way or another, I'll manage. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, and that's what's going on. Not a whole heck of a lot. We're between winter and spring, right? Time to clean. I got to get working on this office. Take care. God bless, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Mwah! Have a great day.